1.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is August 6, 2024, and we're calling the meeting the Community Development Meeting. And we will actually we have in chambers, we have Councilwoman McKeever, and Councilman Andrew. We have Councilwoman Cook. She is not here today. And of course, you have myself, Chair Councilman Tyrone Johnson. And so we will move with what is on our agenda, which is 2024-320, Local Code Strategic Plan Update. And we will have Callie Parrish, our interim code enforcement manager, to come and bring some information to us. Good to see you.
Good to see you all as well. So my name is Kaylee Parrish. I'm the interim code enforcement manager. It's okay, I get caught a little bit of everything, so not a problem at all. Sorry. Hope everyone is doing well.
Yep.
Staying dry for now at least.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you all an update before I go to the next slide on the amount of minimum housing cases, public nuisance cases, and zoning cases we've had since January of 2024. So January, we had 276 active minimum housing cases, 93 public nuisance cases, and 124 zoning cases. February, we had 184 minimum housing cases, 99 public nuisance cases, and 119 zoning cases. March, we had 192 minimum housing, 98 public nuisance, 71 zoning cases. April, we had 148 minimum housing cases, 279 public nuisance cases, and 88 zoning cases. For May, we had 161 minimum housing cases, 314 public nuisance cases, and 128 zoning cases. And for June, we had 170 minimum housing, 214 public nuisance, and 147 zoning cases.
This is Councilman Andrew. Just for clarification, two things. One, will you define what a minimum housing case is? And two, the numbers you gave from month to month, they're not all new, like the January ones. When you move to February, the number you gave is completely new, or are they carrying over from month to month?
So they're completely new every month. And a minimum housing case is where we get a complaint from a tenant, a fire department, police department, or any other type of department staff, or a field inspector complaint. So what happens is we make contact with the tenant or the property owner, and we'll go out there and inspect the property for minimum housing violations. And then from there, we will issue what is called a complaint notice of hearing, and that's where we would sit down with the property owner and discuss what needs to be done in order for the violations to come in compliance. So after the hearing, we issue what is called a compliance order. So we have three different types. We have a order to repair or demolish, we have a order to repair, and we have a 48-hour. And typically 48 hours is if they are without air or without heat, or severe issues like structural issues and things along those lines.
If it's not too much problems, is there a way I can have the numbers by month and approximately where in the city they are? I'd like to see that graphically, please.
Yes, sir, absolutely, not a problem at all. And I'm going to move over for the month of July. So for complaints that came in for the month of July for minimum housing, we had 17 complaints and 10 city initiated. Altogether, we had 27 total cases for the month of July for minimum housing. For zoning, we had 7 complaints and 57 were city initiated with a total of 69 complaints. For public nuisance, we had 16 complaints from citizens and 110 city initiated cases, bringing the overall total to 137. Now, the homeless encampments have risen since my last update. As of now, we have 11 cases total. 7 were corrected by the owner, 2 were corrected by the city, and 2 owners are actively working on removing those violations. And I would also like to update the signs that we've collected since January of 2024 that are within the city right-of-way. It's 1,472. And inspectors, as of 8/6/2024, are actively working on 536 cases.
Great.
Does anybody have any questions or anything?
This is Councilman Johnson. Can you go back to the previous slide? Number of homeless encampments since January. You said that went up.
Yes, sir. So it was 9 previously. We've had 2 more added since the prior update.
Okay. So we're not seeing a significant, increase?
No, just a little bit of an increase, not much.
Okay. Okay. Anybody has any questions?
No, just thank you very much. The numbers of minimum housing are of interest to me, and just kind of want to see patterns if that's helpful.
Absolutely, not a problem. Thank you all.
Great, thank you. Kaylee, is that Kaylee, right?
Kaylee, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And I apologize, I just want to let everybody know that Mark Schroeder and I are actively working on producing an interactive map on the website.
Great.
And with that, what it's going to do, it's going to show how many minimum housing cases we have, how many PV cases we have, and how many zoning cases we have. So what will happen is you would be able to click on each individual dot and see what type of case we have.
Yeah, that would be
And
great.
I do not have a date for that just yet, but once we get it up and running, kind of test it, I will let you all know so you can get the link for it.
Yeah, there's no hurry on this, but what you described, once that comes online, I think that'll satisfy what I'm looking for. That'll be great.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next is 2024-321, Community and School Garden Update from Ms. Crystal Mercer. So good to see you here, young lady. Yes.
It's great to see you every single time. Thank you so much for being here and for everything you do for the city.
Thank you.
My name is Crystal Mercer, and I serve all of Guilford County. And today I want to talk about my, Okay. And I just want to talk about, this is just an update report from January through June. We have 54 community gardens in High Point, and they are listed. Last year, we had a total of 50. So 4 were added, but I'm very, very careful about adding gardens. I just want to make sure they're sustainable. And someone's there that can keep it going. So we added 4 since last year. Here are the community gardens and school and youth gardens that received the City of High Point Community Garden Assistance Program. And so there should be 6 of them. And I just also want to talk about the 6 grants. They totaled $759, which the City of High Point spent between January and June for wood mulch, compost, and topsoil to help these community gardens and school gardens. And the fair market value, if the gardeners had to go outside of the City of High Point for outside of your help, it would have cost a total of $2,249. So that's a savings of $1,489. And here are some new and restarted gardens, and Triad Health Project is restarted. They had a garden at one time. They didn't have a community gardener, so they let it go, and now they have a gardener, and so they're back up in operation, and it's a Triad Health Project. So I just want to point that one out as a restart. And here's their garden, and they're so proud. So, this is Julie McKnight, and she has been taking over that project of gardening. High Point Central High School, I wanted to show you how the community has to come together to get something for that school. We had the principal there, teachers, and there was a community volunteer in a yellow hat, and Dottie Brogdon is a volunteer with the Cooperative Extension. She's a master gardener, and I partner with her because she's got over 50 years of gardening experience, and we bounce off each other. We just pull together how we can help that school, okay? Water, if they need water, we just talk to them, and that's called a site visit there. We have to see it in order to help people out. Once again, the Master Gardener volunteers, they have a plant sale every year, and they use some of that money for grants. There's school micro grants, and those are the schools in High Point that received that grant this year. There's also startup grants for community gardens. And Highland Village Neighborhood Association received that grant, but we could not do everything with $300, so they did have assistance from Growing High Point, and other agencies came in to get them to where they are now. Dee Meadows is the garden leader, and Rebecca Copeland is a Master Gardener mentor, and mentors are assigned to community or school gardens to help them throughout the year, throughout the process of how to garden, and if they have any questions, and if they have any problems, they're there to help. Okay, this is something I started called Sow and Grow, and this is a good example of a video that we did of a young lady in High Point. Now, Serena, this is Serena's inspirational story, and I'm not sure if I can click on it to get a little short video, but that's a video. And I just wanted to demonstrate education through North Carolina Cooperative Extension goes beyond community and schools. It also goes to homeowners. She is a prime example. This is a garden in the back of her home. It's only 500 square feet. She's got it packed with an area for her children, so they have their own garden. She has an area for her ducks and everything else in between. And she donated in July 17 pounds of fresh produce to her neighbors and community kitchens. And that's Serena.
Wonderful.
We gave away free vegetable plants, which was compliments of the Greater High Point Food Alliance's Urban Ag team and the High Point University Horticulture Department. So they donated the 30 plants, tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. We gave away every last one of them. And we also had a member who created 80 garden kits for kids, and we gave away everything. And it was a total of about 125 people stopped at our station for either the kits, the free plants, or for questions.
Good.
I also provide gardening educational programs throughout the year. And I have 3 seasons. I've done 2, spring and summer, and then one's coming up this fall, and that's always at the High Point Library Teaching Gardens. And I'm also partnering with Mark Taylor, so we're a team when we're in that garden. Past events, Seeds to Share was back in February, and there's the other events that I held or was responsible for or partnered with. And this is in the Morgan Room at the High Point Library. Upcoming events, fall gardening, the community garden contest is in process now. Judges are out looking at gardens and making decisions, and so we'll know pretty soon who are the winners, and we'll reveal them at our next event at the Unity Festival. I received a $1,000 grant from the Herb Society of America, and the Guilford County has a greenhouse. So I took that $1,000 and purchased plants, herb plants, and they gave me a discount, and I was able to get 240 plants for $1,000. So, and Kirtman Park Elementary was one of the schools that received herbs, and they received over 9 different types of herbs, transplants. And that was a planting day. And I just want to give a shout out this time to Guilford County for their contribution of the herb plants.
Awesome. What I am seeing and hearing, Councilman Johnson again, is unity, community, and love when you were going through all of this. And it's absolutely beautiful. Serena, I wrote that down. She donated, she gave 17 pounds of fresh produce. I mean, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, thank you. You guys have any comment?
Sure. Councilman Andrew, earlier you mentioned restarts. With these community gardens, how often are they sustained? You mentioned that some were in existence and then they fell off because they didn't have someone to run them and they came back. Can you give me an idea of how sustainable these efforts are?
I'll give you a good example, schools. Every year, there's maybe a teacher or a principal or a social worker who want to start a garden. We get them started, and sometimes they move on to another job, and nobody else steps up to the plate, So, and then we'll get another teacher who, oh my gosh, they love gardening and they want to do this. They'll call me, and I'm saying, yes, I'll help you, but you have to have a team.
Right.
You can't do it alone. So we'll just sit down and talk about that, and then we'll go through the process. I'll pull in my team, and we'll go out and get them started.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Sure.
And Councilman Johnson again, what are the 4 new gardens? The 4, I think you mentioned there were 4 new ones.
Yeah, the 4 new ones are 2 schools. One is,
Maybe I missed it, I'm sorry.
one is the High Point Central is new. I think it was another one was Andrews, T.W. Andrews was a new one. There was, I think it was, I might have had Triad Health Project as one of the new ones. We did not have them last year. Let me see, what was the other new one? Oh, Dream for Spoiled Kids was a new one as well. And that's KIDZ.
Well, this is Councilwoman McKeever. You get me the students from High Point Central to help out?
I'm sorry?
Do you get me the students from High Point Central to help out with?
High Point Central to help out? Yeah, that's one, it was part of the agreement, is the garden is for them, and they have say over what they want to, if they want to garden or not. It's not for the adults, it's really for the kids and the high school students. And if the kids don't want it, you can't make them, so you got to really have a good at least a good science teacher, someone who can show their love for gardening and just expose kids to that. A lot of times you just have to do exposure.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a great job you're doing, because it's so hard to get people to come out and volunteer to help out, so good job.
We're always looking for volunteers.
I can't do planks.
No volunteers.
I love how Ms. Crystal put that in there. We're always looking for volunteers. Green thumb?
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And do we have any announcements before we adjourn? Yes.
So far tonight for National Night Out, we only know of one cancellation, and that's West End. So if we get additional notifications, we'll pass those along, but as of right now, it's just the one that we're aware of.
Okay.
And Southside, I'm sorry, we have two.
Southside and West End, council for today. So National Night Out, I believe some start at 4. I know one of mine starts at 4. So go out, enjoy community, our police officers. Just go out and enjoy one another. I believe the rain, at least when I came in, it had stopped. So hopefully that will stay back at least until after 8 o'clock. All right, that's all I have. We're now adjourned.